He knows how we work. Look how he hits every major theme: political, environmental, religious. In one section, he manages to weave together Julius Caesar, Berlin, Germany, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Gandhi. It's scattershot. He knew that this would send us scurrying like squirrels for nuts.
Yeah, but to suggest that he might be one of us, how can you be sure?
Would Dexter Morgan actually outsmart the FBI in real life? That is the question we are breaking down today. We all know Dexter as the Bay Harbor Butcher, a man who lived a double life as a blood spatter analyst by day and a meticulous serial killer by night. But what if we stripped away the plot armor and handed his case to the real FBI? Would he slip through their fingers, or would the Bureau's modern profiling and surveillance eventually corner him? Think back to Season 2 of Dexter, when the FBI was called in to investigate the Bay Harbor Butcher case under Special Agent Frank Lundy.
All right. The Bay Harbor Butcher case is now a Miami Metro case, and it is shaping up to be the biggest one in our history. We're now at 14 confirmed. The FBI has sent over their top man, Special Agent Frank Lundy, to help solve this crime.
That storyline gave us a glimpse of what a federal investigation might look like. But let's push the fiction aside and ask something bigger. If Dexter truly existed, and if the FBI launched a full-scale investigation with all of today's resources, could he actually survive? Or would his flaws and slip-ups eventually betray him? That is where this story begins. The first red flag the FBI would notice is Dexter's social behavior. On the show, his inner monologues explain why he pauses, why he hesitates, and why he seems so detached in conversation.
Dex, I got this huge break in the Bay Harbor case.
Oh, I mean, really?
Guys, you're not going.
I refuse to believe that Vince Masuka is the man who single-handedly brings me down.
But in reality, no one would hear those inner thoughts. All they would see is a man staring blankly during jokes, showing no empathy during grief, and often mimicking emotions he does not feel. From a profiler's perspective, that is a huge sign of abnormality. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit studies patterns exactly like this. They look for people who fake emotions, who stay oddly calm during tragedy, and who never quite mirror genuine human reactions. Dexter checks all those boxes. In fact, James Dokes picked up on it just by gut instinct.
What about these? The hotel cokehead murders, this dealer and the girl.
Dokes, the only one who gets the creeps from me.
I'm still waiting for his spatter report on the cokehead murders. Go do that.
It's okay.
I'm watching you, mother.
Now imagine a full team of FBI profilers analyzing the same behavior. The suspicion would multiply quickly. The second red flag is Dexter's career itself. On the surface, working as a blood spatter analyst is the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect a forensic expert of being the killer he is supposed to help catch? Yet in reality, this would be a glaring conflict of interest. Every time a new body turned up, Dexter was right there in the middle of the investigation. The FBI would ask the obvious question: why is the same analyst always tied to cases linked to the Bay Harbor Butcher? And when you add in the detail of the bloodslide trophies, it only grows more suspicious. In the show, characters like Maria Laguerta connected these dots with nothing more than basic police work.
Where's Jimenez now? Murdered by the Bay Harbor Butcher? So who was more likely to want Jimenez dead? Dokes or Dexter?
Oh, come on, Maria.
No, Tom. We can't ignore the facts. The Bay Harbor Butcher took blood slides from his victims. Dexter is a blood spatter analyst, and Dokes always thought there was something off about Dexter. What if Dokes was onto him? Jesus, what if Dexter is the real Bay Harbor Butcher?
If she could draw the connection, a federal task force with advanced databases and technology would close that loop even faster. Surveillance is where the FBI would tighten the noose. The Bureau has far more resources than a single detective like Dokes, who often made it obvious when he was tailing Dexter. Real FBI teams can run wiretaps, place GPS trackers on cars, monitor bank and phone records, and assign multiple agents to follow a target around the clock. Every late-night trip, every unusual purchase, every missing hour would be documented. when a washed-up ex-cop like Stan Liddy managed to get close to Dexter with almost no resources.
You're Quinn's friend.
That would be me. FYI, Stan Liddy is my name.
Imagine what a coordinated federal team could uncover. It would not take long before Dexter's pattern of nighttime disappearances and ocean trips raised undeniable red flags. That being said, Dexter is not an easy target. His intelligence and adaptability cannot be ignored. He is meticulous with his crime scenes, careful with his alibis, and skilled at masking his tracks. He would not go down without a fight. But intelligence alone cannot erase the human factor. Other people eventually notice. From Dokes to Deborah to Lagerta, almost every character who looked too closely at Dexter eventually discovered the truth. The problem was they never lived long enough to expose him. In real life, however, the FBI is not a single individual. It is a system, and systems keep coming even after one agent makes a mistake. Dexter can silence one detective. He cannot silence an entire bureau. So let's imagine the chase. At first, Dexter would probably continue undetected, maybe for years. Like many real-life serial killers, he could rack up dozens of victims before the FBI even linked the crimes. But once the Bay Harbor butcher case existed, once a profile was built, the countdown would begin. With every kill, the FBI would connect patterns. With every lie, Dexter would add inconsistencies. Surveillance would capture suspicious movements. Financial tracking would reveal unusual purchases. Phone records could expose late-night calls or contacts he could not explain. The web would tighten piece by piece until Dexter found himself trapped. Now comes the climax. Could Dexter still outmaneuver the Bureau? For a while, maybe. He is resourceful, clever, and thrives under pressure. He could delay the inevitable. But the FBI does not play for days or weeks. They play for years. They do not need to prove everything at once. They only need enough to corner him. And eventually, Dexter's biggest weakness would surface. He can control his actions, but he cannot control the suspicions of others. Co-workers whispering, supervisors second-guessing, friends noticing he is never home at night. All of these small cracks would build into a case too large to escape. So here is my honest estimate. Once the Bay Harbor butcher investigation was active, it would take 6 months to 1 year for the FBI to put Dexter Morgan behind bars. Without that case, he could operate for much longer, maybe even decades. But once the Bureau turned its eyes on him, the combination of profiling, surveillance, and persistence would overwhelm his carefully built mask. Dexter's brilliance might buy him time, but it would never buy him freedom forever. And that is the truth. Dexter Morgan might be a master of deception on television, but in reality, the FBI would eventually catch him. The only real question is how long it would take. Do you think he could last longer than a year once the FBI was on his trail? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into fiction colliding with reality, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that break down the dark side of our favorite shows.
All right. The Bay Harbor butcher case is now a Miami Metro case, and it is shaping up to be the biggest one in our history. We're now at 14 confirmed. The FBI has sent over their top man, Special Agent Frank Lundy, to help solve this crime.
Dexter Morgan faced killers of every kind. Some were laughably weak, barely worthy of his table. Others, they nearly tore his entire world apart. Today, we're ranking every single Dexter villain, including the new threats from Dexter, resurrection from the weakest pretenders to the deadliest monsters who haunted him. Let's start at the bottom, the weakest tier. These are the so-called villains who either lacked skill, lacked brains, or simply couldn't stand toe-to-toe with Dexter.
Think this funny?
Blood on your hands, too. Ethan Turner, Clemson Galt.
I am the last person you want to fuck with, because I will
Fuck you back in ways you never even imagined.
Miguel Prado from Season 3 might shock some of you. As a district attorney, he had the power to expose Dexter, but in reality, Miguel was reckless, impulsive, and easy to manipulate. He thought he could live by Dexter's code, but his arrogance sealed his fate. Next, we've got Jordan Chase's followers.
We don't love power of risk.
some bad news for everyone. We're going to die. Some of us sooner than others.
Season 5's group of weak-willed enablers. Yes, they helped cover up heinous crimes, but against Dexter, they were pawns. Nothing more. Disposable. Forgettable. From Resurrection, we slide in Ronald Red Schmidt.
Take the bridge.
You sure tunnel's faster?
The so-called rideshare killer. At first, he looked like a dangerous copycat Dexter could use to his advantage. But the truth? He was sloppy, predictable, and ultimately just a stepping stone for Dexter to infiltrate something bigger. Even creepier but equally ineffective was Lowell.
Fist bump, okay. Hey, heard there may be a new guy.
The tattoo collector, a Resurrection villain obsessed with carving skin like it was art. Disturbing, sure, but dangerous to Dexter? Not even close. Now we move up the ladder. The mid-tier villains. These killers were threats. Some psychological, some physical, but they were either too flawed, too emotional, or too predictable to truly destroy Dexter. Lila Tournay in Season 2 fits this perfectly.
Find out what happened to the men responsible for your mother's murder. And what are you going to do about it?
She nearly manipulated Dexter into abandoning his code. She came closer than most to exposing his personal life. But in the end, she was obsessed, not calculated, dangerous only to Dexter's heart, not his life. Travis Marshall, the Doomsday Killer of Season 6, was chaotic and violent, yes.
What I want is to be free.
But he lacked control. Dexter dismantled him because Travis's madness outweighed his method. Isaac Serco from Season 7 deserves a higher spot for one reason: personal motive.
I believe you recently gave notice. Your feedback is important. Do you mind telling me why you quit?
Serco's vendetta against Dexter was relentless. He had the resources of the Ukrainian mob, and he nearly pushed Dexter over the edge. But love clouded Serco's judgment. That made him human. That made him vulnerable. In Resurrection, Mia LaPierre, or Lady Vengeance, deserves mention here.
82 Chateau Lafitte, 90 Romane Conti. Someone has really stepped up their wine game.
A certain renowned sommelier gave me some pointers.
She killed with fury, with emotion, driven by her sister's tragedy. A formidable killer, yes, but unstable. She didn't have Dexter's patience, and unpredictability was her weakness. Then you have the Gemini killers, Gareth Pike and his twin.
God, how do you do it? How have you kept your secret all these years? I can't get into specifics.
Resurrection gave us the twisted thrill of siblings who kill together. More dangerous than most, but their rivalry and dysfunction limited them. Dexter exploited it, and once again, he walked away. But now, let's enter the true apex predators, the villains who left scars, not just on Dexter's victims, but on Dexter himself. Brian Moser, the ice truck killer.
Who was she?
I didn't know.
I watched her die.
Dexter's own brother, Season 1's shocking twist. Brian wasn't just a killer, he was family. He understood Dexter in a way no one else did. That made him one of the deadliest, because he didn't want to kill Dexter, he wanted to keep him. Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, Season 4, the man who destroyed Dexter's family.
Warmth, intimacy, he's convincing. All right.
Arthur Mitchell.
Mitchell wasn't just deadly because of his kills. He was deadly because he infiltrated Dexter's personal life. He smiled with Dexter's son. He laughed with his wife. And in the end, he left Dexter broken, his world in ruins. For many fans, Trinity remains #1. But New Blood gave us Kurt Caldwell, a predator hiding in plain sight.
You know, there was a time when I thought you and I would be great friends. And there was that time outside the tavern when you picked me up in your truck. Almost like it was fate.
Kurt lured vulnerable girls, kept them like trophies, and nearly ended Dexter's legacy. He proved that even years later, Dexter could meet someone who mirrored his darkest tendencies. Then came Resurrection and Leon Prater.
goodness, no. I am just a huge fan.
A billionaire with resources beyond anything Dexter had faced, Prater didn't just kill, he collected killers. He ran a secret society of predators, a club where murder was currency. Leon wasn't dangerous because of his knife. He was dangerous because he built a world where killers thrived. Taking him down nearly cost Dexter everything. And finally, the shadow that lingers. The New York Ripper, Don Frampt. Barely revealed, only hinted at in Resurrection's finale. But what we saw was terrifying. Files, evidence, whispers of a killer who may outmatch them all. When Resurrection continues, Frampt could be Dexter's greatest challenge yet, a predator waiting in the dark. So, who's the deadliest? For some, it will always be Trinity, the man who destroyed everything Dexter loved. For others, Leon Prater's ambition makes him the most terrifying. And for those looking ahead, the New York Ripper may rewrite the list entirely. One thing's certain. Each villain tested Dexter in a new way. Some were weak, some were unstable. But the deadliest, they nearly turned the hunter into the hunted. Do you agree with the ranking? Or would you put someone else at the top? If you're still watching, drop Dark Passenger in the comments.
What about these? The hotel cokehead murders, this dealer and the girl.
Dokes, the only one who gets the creeps from me.
I'm still waiting for his spatter report on the cokehead murders. Go do that.
It's okay.
I'm watching you, mother.
James Dokes was the only one who ever saw through Dexter Morgan's perfect mask. While everyone else at Miami Metro fell for the donuts, the polite smiles, and the nice guy routine, Dokes always sensed something darker lurking underneath.
I'm pretty sure I covered all my tracks.
What do you care about that woman?
I don't. I was just...
You like when women cry? You like that? What's your thing, psycho?
I was just heading to the briefing room.
You got no call to be in there, so flee.
But here's the real question. How? How did Dokes, out of an entire police department filled with detectives and forensic experts, manage to uncover Dexter's secret life as a serial killer? Today, we're breaking down the exact clues, confrontations, and instincts that led James Dokes to the truth.
He's forcing me to see this.
Nobody paying you to stand around and goddamn stare.
I thought Angel was working this case, Sergeant. Sergeant? The foot was severed between the tarsus and the metatarsus. The wound is circular, again almost surgical.
And there's blood. Guy gives us body after body with no blood. Why is he making a switch now?
He's trying to send him in his ritual need to drain the blood and wrap the part.
And by the end, you'll see why his suspicions were more than just a hunch. They were dead accurate. From the very first season, Dokes never liked Dexter. He didn't buy the act for even a second. While Deborah, LaGuarta, and the rest of Miami Metro saw Dexter as harmless and quirky, Dokes saw through it. It wasn't just the donuts or the fake smile. It was the way Dexter seemed too calm around crime scenes, too fascinated by blood, too eager to linger on the details.
See work, all that blood on the walls? Looks like a finger painting.
You give me a fucking creep. You know that, Dexter?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Okay. Is there something I can do?
Yeah, you can give me your analysis on the blood spatter on these killings. You think I'm here to invite you to my nephew's grist?
In Season 1, Episode 1, Dokes caught Dexter spinning in his chair, surrounded by photos of blood spatter. It should have been just another day at the office. But Dexter's strange comments about blood looking like finger paintings gave Dokes a reason to furrow his brow. And it only got worse. At other crime scenes, Dexter showed an unsettling excitement. In Season 1, Episode 7, while analyzing a murder, Dokes noticed Dexter staring too intensely, almost admiring the killer's work. That's when Dokes snapped. You getting a goddamn hard on there, Morgan?
Swear to Christ, Morgan, after this case, I'm submitting your ass for psychiatric evaluation.
Just retracing cast-off patterns, directionality angles.
Can you tell us what happened here or not?
Senexions. Every stroke hit a major...
You getting a goddamn hard on there, Morgan?
No, it's truly horrific. He was yearbook committee, you said?
I want your report on this tomorrow.
I wish I could say Sergeant Dokes is my biggest problem right now, but he's not.
For anyone else, it would have been brushed off as gallows humor, but Dokes wasn't laughing. He was clocking every reaction, every slip of the mask. Of course, suspicion grew when Dexter's day job and night hobby collided. Working at Miami Metro gave Dexter cover, but it also left him vulnerable. He had to disappear for surveillance, prep, or even to kill. And Dokes noticed. In Season 1, Episode 12, when Deb was kidnapped by the ice truck killer, Dexter was unreachable.
No need for you to be uncomfortable. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Just checking supplies, okay? It's an eye plan. Pretty sure it is. I never wanted to hurt you.
Dokes and LaGuerta went straight to his house, only to find him missing. Later, Dokes spotted Dexter sneaking around the shipping yard. And that's when we got the legendary moment. Surprise, motherfucker, sir.
I told you he was here. There's some reason you're not answering your damn phone? Saw him last night, skulking in the lab, ordering secret blood tests. Surprise, motherfucker.
Are you following me now?
Dexter's excuse. He claimed he was waiting for furniture from Thailand. Dokes didn't buy it for a second. He had already realized that Dexter knew Deb was in danger before anyone told him.
I ordered some furniture from Thailand. I was waiting for it to be delivered. Good question.
You're connected to this. I don't know how, but I'm gonna find out, and some of what I find is gonna stick to your ass.
Too many coincidences, too many absences. Every time a killer surfaced, Dexter seemed to be right there. And Dokes' instincts, razor sharp from his Special Forces background, kept telling him something wasn't adding up. What really set Dexter apart wasn't just his disappearances, it was his behavior when he was present. Dokes watched him analyze blood spatter like it was art, dramatize murders with way too much enthusiasm, and even describe a victim's final moments with excitement in his voice.
Okay.
She's not kidding. It's your wet dream in there.
Okay.
Something finally got to you. I guess you're human after all.
Cut him some slack, all right?
Most cops made dark jokes at crime scenes to cope. Vince Masuka, for example, would say outrageous things to get a laugh. But Dexter wasn't joking. His fascination wasn't funny. It was disturbing. Dokes summed it up perfectly. You like this blood a little too much. That was the first time he caught a glimpse of the real Dexter.
The killer grabs her and flips her over. He's on top of her now, slices her carotid artery. She's terrified. Heart's racing.
I've never seen someone so excited about a crime scene before. You like this blood a little too much.
I'm just doing my job.
The predator hiding behind the analyst. But here's the deeper layer. Dokes wasn't just a sharp cop, he carried his own darkness. As a former Special Forces operative, he had seen violence up close. He had pulled the trigger more times than anyone else in Miami Metro. In fact, Dexter even called him out, saying he had more officer-involved shootings than anyone on the force.
You're a killer. I catch killers.
So do I. I caught you.
I'm not a killer.
You are. That's why you've always known what I am. That's why you have more officer-related shootings than anybody else.
Dokes denied being a killer, but Dexter was right. He lived on the edge of the same darkness, and that gave him an instinct no one else had. It wasn't just that Dokes didn't like Dexter, it was that he recognized him. Darkness saw darkness, and Dokes couldn't ignore it. By Season 2, suspicion had turned into obsession. Dokes started tailing Dexter. He confronted him outside of work, pointing out every red flag. The cash-only lifestyle, the lack of social ties, the advanced martial arts training that made no sense for a lab geek. You were top of your class in med school, Dokes said, but you traded it for blood spatter.
You were top of your class in med school, but you traded it for f***ing blood spatter.
Why? Dexter brushed it off with excuses, but Dokes wasn't fooled. Then came the breaking point. In Season 2, Episode 10, Dokes caught Dexter loading a boat with dismembered body parts. They fought, and for the first time, Dexter admitted it. You've always known what I am.
I'm not a killer.
You are. That's why you've always known what I am.
Dokes had been right all along. The ultimate confirmation came when Dokes broke into Dexter's apartment and found the wooden box of blood slides. He didn't understand exactly what they were at first, but he knew they were trophies. Proof of something horrific. Proof that Dexter wasn't just weird, he was a killer. This discovery should have ended Dexter once and for all, but fate and Dexter's cunning twisted the story in another direction. Dokes wasn't paranoid, he wasn't unstable, he was right. Every suspicion, every insult, every glare, it was all justified. He saw what no one else could. He was the only one who refused to be fooled by Dexter's fake humanity. And when he finally had the evidence, it sealed his fate. The tragedy of James Dokes is that he was too good at his job. He got too close to the truth, and in Dexter's world, that made him the most dangerous man alive. Dokes uncovered the monster, but the monster was one step ahead. His downfall wasn't proof he was wrong. It was proof that being right wasn't enough. So in the end, how did Dokes really know Dexter was a serial killer? Because he never looked away. He trusted his instincts. And most importantly, he recognized the darkness because he had lived with his own. Dokes was the one man who could never be fooled by Dexter Morgan. And that's why fans still remember him as the truest threat Dexter ever faced. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe for more Dexter deep dives, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Dokes could have actually taken down Dexter if he had lived long enough?